Well, good evening to you. Twice in one day. That's a surprise, isn't it? Well, I did say that I'd get back to you if I was able to talk to Robert Powell. And remember the video I made earlier on. My wife went to this performance of his where he spoke about the life of Charles Dickens, apparently. And then apparently that was the first half of the show. And then the second half, he did a Q&A session. He talked about his role as Jesus of Nazareth. And we were told at the end of the performance, I came into the foyer and my wife was still in the performance. And then when they all came out, she asked the manager if we could possibly see him. And he said, well, you'll have to go around to the back of the stage door and see when he comes out, which is what we did. And half a dozen people also as well. And I might just put it on here, actually. I think I put a little video clip on there. It probably lasts about 10 seconds. I'll put it on there for you. And my wife got to speak to him. And of course, it's all, when you meet these people, it's always very much, you kind of feel a bit hurried because there's other people wanting to talk to him. And then there's, you know, they're wanting autographs and selfies and all this kind of thing. And I had one of my tracts, I think I've pointed them out before. I had one of these in my shirt pocket. I folded it up and I said to myself, well, if I get to talk to him, then I'll give him a tract. And we were just very briefly said something to him. We were talking about Jesus of Nazareth, actually, and where it was located, the location in Morocco, and getting to the point of, you know, how did he feel about playing the part. And of course, as he said, really, he basically just said that it was his job. And I took out the tract and I said, well, I've got something here I'd like you to take, and if you'd like to read it, sort of apropos reading or talking about Jesus. And he promptly put it in his pocket, and then we left. But it makes you think that it doesn't matter how famous you are, you're still human. You're as human as the rest of us, and he played Jesus, but he still needs Jesus. And it's a bit of an irony, isn't it, really, when you think about it, giving a tract to the fake Jesus, as it were, or the portrayal of Jesus. And as I say, he did such a brilliant job of it. Those of you that haven't seen it, I would actually recommend seeing it. I do believe quite a few people actually came to Christ through that portrayal. And I'm sure it sticks with him a lot. The fact that apparently my wife had this Q&A session in the theatre after he'd done the Dickens bit. And my wife asked him about Jesus of Nazareth. Apparently there people in the audience could ask him questions. But we think today, don't we, about the real Jesus and who this real Jesus really is. I noticed some of you in the comments, or one or two of you in the comments, were castigating me about the fact that I'd said that Caviezel and Gibson and Jonathan Rumi were Catholic. They are Catholic, and I'm not saying, and I will qualify this, I'm not saying that God couldn't use them. God will use anything. He will use anybody to bring people to Christ. I mean, we were talking the other day about Bishop Mari Emmanuel. That man, of course, who had been attacked by that Muslim recently, got stabbed in the eye, apparently lost his eye. I'd say, yes, he lost his eye for Jesus. He was preaching the gospel. But he is nevertheless a Catholic in theology. He spoke about Mary. He spoke about praying to the saints and using the rosary and all this sort of stuff. Accoutrements, if you like. Things that we don't really need to worship the Lord. I don't know the man's heart, and I certainly am not his judge, and I can't be the judge of anybody's heart. So, for the record, I always look first to myself, because I think that's the most important thing to do. None of us have reached it yet, as Paul himself said. I strive to attain, but I haven't yet got there, and it takes time. And like anybody visiting or seeing a celebrity, we had to get his autograph, of course. That's the man now, how he looks. And like all human beings, he wanted to get home. and he'd had his performance and it had been seen and it was very appreciated. So we can act, can't we? We can act in our own lives. Yes, we can act as Christians, can't we? Put on performances to one another, pretending we're something we're not. But God wants us to have true, honest and genuine hearts. And God forbid that we should be accused of being fakes, of not walking the walk instead of and just talking the talk, as it were. So there's it's important for us really that we keep, as it were, keep going with the Lord, keep walking on and asking him to make us more and more authentic to the world and to those around us, so that people won't say that we are performers. So have a blessed evening, and we'll be talking again soon.
Just in Monastery.
Yes, it's taking place in this, taking in the hotel.
Yeah.
With your birthday.
Pardon?
Was it really with your birthday? As director?
You're right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was wonderful.
Ah, was it?
Yeah.
I thought so. It seemed to be it.
I think we